Hi guys, welcome back to the conversation of our generation. I know it's been a while since we've done one of these videos, so I'm trying to get a couple here and pump them out so I can put them up on YouTube over the next few days. It's been a busy weekend and I had a busy couple days at work, so I did not get around to it. And I'm getting also ready to go back to school next week, which is what I'm actually going to be talking about today is college. And so it's just been hectic and trying to get back on the horse here. So this doesn't really pay the bills, so it kind of falls behind some things that do. um, and so, but I guess for an intro to people who haven't watched these videos in the past, this is my trying to get a forum and a dialogue going with people who I can reach through this medium, however it is, whether it's people who are Facebook friends or follow me on Twitter that see my stuff and that watch my videos, or if it's people who stumble across it on YouTube searching. I just want to get a forum here where people can come, watch these videos, share it, talk about it, or get in my comment section and talk to me or reach out to me and have a conversation with me about things and correct me, because I find that this is just the internet has just the wealth of knowledge, and I want to put out my understanding of what I see and get people's feedback so that I can grow, and then hopefully, I can challenge people's belief in what, or not challenge the belief, but challenge the way they see things, and maybe get people thinking about things in a different way and growing as well alongside me, I guess. So that's what this is about. And so like I said, today I want to be talking about college, and I want to talk about a couple aspects of it. So how I think that the education system can be improved to help people prepare for college better and to utilize it, and then how I've utilized it, and then some of the problems that have come along that I think really are hurting my generation, and some of the solutions that I have. So the first thing I think that really is a disservice to the college system is the way we educate people is we make people memorize things. We make people just learn stuff for the sake of taking the test and then teaching them so that you can memorize these things and get through the standardized test so that our school ranks high enough and all this stuff. And that's stupid. That's just absolutely, absolutely stupid, because what school should be about is learning for the sake of learning, because learning is not it is a means to an end, but learning really is best done when it's an end in and of itself. You just learn for sake of learning. And so if you can teach people to do that and to have a love for it and just understand that, you may not love learning history, fine, but find something that you love and learn it. Because if you love coding, and tech stuff, then learn that to the best of your degree. And if you have an ability to love learning, then whatever it is that you come across, you will be able to learn it, because you will have the drive to do it. Because if you love to do something, you will do it better and do it more efficiently, and you will want to do it, and you'll actually get around to doing it. And so I think that's one thing, is that they strip it away. And I think, my schools did a pretty good job, but like my mom is a teacher, and I think she really instilled that in me. We had placemats or like maps basically in the back of her van when I was a kid, and so we're driving around, I'd be looking at the map and I'd quiz her, she'd quiz me on the states and capitals, because I thought it was fun, and I would look at the geography, and I would know where stuff is. I don't think I could still fill in a map of every state and capital, but I think I could get most of the capitals. I actually think I could, but I think, and I definitely could place every state. But I think people, that kind of thing. It's now, does that make me millions of dollars to know that? No, but to have a basic knowledge, and then you have that frame of reference to anything else that you learn, is good. And then also, the biggest thing is it taught me to enjoy it, because I just like to learn it so that I could say that I knew these things. And then eventually it's like you learn something because it's like, I like to learn coding because now I can build a computer program, or I like to learn how to play an instrument because now I can play my favorite song, and all sorts of stuff. I like to learn how to weld because I would like to work with metals and I think you can create cool things, and now I can do that. That's cool. That's the kind of learning that is undervalued, I think. And it's because it's not your basic liberal arts or science degree, so that's one thing. And then I think the biggest detriment that we have with college right now is that everyone, for a long time, it was if you just had a college degree, you're good, whatever the college degree was. You could have a degree in English and just because you had a degree, you'd end up going into business somewhere because you're a good writer, and because you're an English major, you know how to write and communicate well, so they put you in there and you're doing PR now, for a major company. You could do that, but now you can't. Now, I mean, I guess you might be able to, but it's not like it's a thing where just because you have a degree, you're good. So I think that's one thing, is you just need to tell people that you need to get a meaningful degree. If you're going to go to college and get a degree, you should hopefully, because of the fact that you loved learning, know what it is that you kind of want to do. Because obviously when you're 17, 18 years old, you don't know what you're going to do for the rest of your life. But you can know what you're passionate about, kind of. I mean, you can, and you can know, like, things that you love doing, and find, like, so if you love music, maybe you're not going to be a rock star, but you could, do something in the music industry. You could find a way to, if you get a realty license, you can open a concert hall. I mean, you can, so you can always work with things that you love doing, and then it's a lot more fun to, have a real estate in something that you love versus just real estate in something that you just had to do, or, that you're doing marketing for, a company that does something that you're passionate about versus a company that it's just a job, or you're coding for a project that's really innovative and cool versus, well, I just got a job at this tech company doing this, like Office Space. And so if you come in knowing what you're passionate about and having a love for learning, then when you go to college, not only will you be vigilant to, the extra things that they have going on, the things that you can learn about different types of majors that you maybe never even knew about. You'll be like, oh, that's so cool. And now your whole course of your life has changed because you're there. But if you go in with an idea of what you want to do, at least, then you can match up meaningful majors to that, then you'll be fine. Regardless, you might, if you go to, some big, really expensive out-of-state school, you might have a lot of debt. But if you're smart about it, and that's what we're going to talk about soon, is you can really make find an affordable college and get your money's worth out of it. But yeah, so to me, the fact that everyone has to go to college, first of all, it hurts it makes colleges more expensive. It's like, picture a hotel that is full, it's fully booked, and then people cancel at the last minute every time. Or like half the people cancel at the last minute. So like it's booked for, it's all booked out for the rest of the year, and then half their people who've reserved rooms cancel 2 days before, and they have to try to fill it. Well, you can't. But when we talk about college, where you have schools where maybe 30, 40, I don't know what the dropout rates are, but let's say you have 20% of people drop out. Well, they've had to build all this stuff. They have to build dorms for freshmen. They have to have the lunch hall for the freshmen. They have to have means of transportation for freshmen to get around the campus, probably, and then upperclassmen too. And then, so if they do all that stuff, and then by middle of the semester, 10 or 20% of those people aren't paying anymore, well, then it's a cost, and they have that infrastructure there, so they have to pay for it. So that's one thing. And then also the fact that government loans go out so much, it's like a subsidy basically. So it's like the college is saying, okay, tuition is going to be $3,000, and so you're like, okay, I'll see if I can afford that. And you go to the government, and the government's like, yeah, we can give you like 10 grand for the semester. And the college is like, oh, did we say 3,000? We meant 13,000. That's how much it's going to be. because when you have subsidies, they just know that they can take that money. It's free money for them. And so those two things have inflated the price a lot. And one way to kind of take that back is, or at least to mitigate that, because since like the 80s, I think healthcare costs, tuition costs, and I'm trying to think of the third thing, but those two for sure are like the two biggest, like those are the two things that have been inflated the most, I guess is the easiest way to say it, price wise. Like, whereas things are like 20% more expensive, let's say, they're like 2 to 3 times as expensive as they were at the time. And that's ridiculous. And there's no reason for it other than stupid decision making, because things don't get crazy expensive out of nowhere, right? It's irrational behavior that causes things to get really expensive. It's like the tulip, what is it, tulip mania, when tulips became really, really like a prized commodity, and I think it was Denmark, and they like just people were buying them like crazy. The demand for it was insane, and they just like became more valuable than like gold almost. And all of a sudden, it just burst, and people just lost all their money, you know. And that's kind of how these things work. Is it's if prices get crazy on something, it's irrational, and that's what college is doing right now. Is people aren't thinking rationally about, does this really suit me? And it's because everyone tells you your whole life that you need to go to college and get a degree and you'll get a job and you can pay off your debt and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, maybe you don't need to. Maybe you can get a certificate to go weld, or a 2-year degree to be a mechanic, and it's going to cost you, you know, not much. And most, I mean, like, comparatively, like being like a trade school is not that much, you know? So that's one thing. To me, the other big thing that people can do is look at like community colleges for gen ed. I did this. I went to IB Tech after I went off to IU for a little while, and I came back home, and then I went to IB Tech for like about a semester and a half, finished up my general education there, and then when I was ready to go back and get back into Kelly School of Business, I went home to IU PUI in Indianapolis, where it is literally going to say the same thing on my degree, but my tuition is like less than half the price of going to Indiana University. And I live at home, you know, with my parents. I do. So like my food costs are mitigated hugely because I just kind of fit into the family cost of food. Living, obviously, I live basically in the attic, but I got a bed and I got roof on my head, and it's, you know, it doesn't cost anything more for my family to put me up here than it would it doesn't cost me it's the same house payment regardless. And, you know, they're definitely not having to help me pay for things outside of it. So I'm able to kind of handle my own books. I help with tuition. And the reason why I'm going to be graduating debt-free is my dad and my grandpa help me out as well. So having a support system there does help a lot too. But it's also very affordable to where, like, if I did take on this as debt, it would be less than a car for the most part. If I were actually to pay on it what I could and finance the rest and really apply for like as many scholarships as I could probably go there if I really dug into scholarships as much as I could and grants, I could probably go there for next to nothing because it's that cheap. So that's one thing that people can do, is look for really like good deals on schools and look at like those odd campus things, like where I'm sure every major university has those, you know, that, you know, the University of Chicago in Springfield, Illinois, where it's, you know, or something along those lines. I mean, probably not exactly, you know, but those kinds of things are a great way, you know, looking for good value schools. You know, so that's one thing that you can do is, and also like, at least if you have to take on debt, working through school, like you may not be able to pay it all, but if you can work and you can at least save money and get yourself ahead in that, and then just pay on the debt as you can afterwards, then that's one thing too that'll help you out as well. But for people who go 4 years and party and they rack up a ton of debt, and then they do work but they don't save any money, they only work half-ass part-time at like a, you know, some minimum wage job and they are part-time there and it's just beer money, like that's silly. I mean, like, if you're it's not like college is a very big commitment to not be able to work full time. Honestly, like for people who say that they can't work full time while going to school, um, I mean, there's some programs, I guess, where it is very rigorous and that's different. You know, especially grad programs. There's Ivy League schools where it's probably really hard. Sure, fine, whatever. But for your average run of the mill like liberal arts degree, if you can't work full time while majoring in English, then you know I'm getting out with 2 majors and 2 minors, and I work full time. It's not like you can't do it. You just gotta be smart. All my majors and minors work together to where they count towards each other. So that way I come out with 4 skill sets that I can have a test that are tested to on my on my graduate or on my degree, and I'm also gonna be debt free, and and I have a job, a full time job. So, and I don't want to sound like braggadocious about it, but it's just and it's mostly due to the fact that my dad's always said, you gotta keep working on this or do that. He's kind of kept me in line as well, where he's like, if you gotta stay in school and you gotta be working or doing something involved in school. That was his requirement. You can't just be in school only. Now, he did require that of me for a long time until I realized the utility of why he was doing it, and then I did it for myself, and I still do it for myself. So that's a big thing. And then the last thing is that I say about college is ask yourself whether or not you need it. If you're going to do college, do you really need to go? Is it going to set you back? Because I know people who are really, really smart who can work their way up and, some business, and if you can be a manager of a factory floor, then that's a decent job, and you could probably get 6 figures. And if you can do that without a college education, do it. Or if you can go get a certificate for something, those like like a small education or like certification program is solid. I don't even know if you have like a realty license. I don't even think you need to have a college degree to be licensed in realty and real estate. So, and it's not that crazy of a process. If I've looked at it to see what it is, and it's like it's like $1,000 a course, and you have to take the test, and you have to keep re-upping on it. But real estate, like selling houses is a solid job. So that's the kind of things that you can look into and ask yourself. And then, especially with the low barrier to entry that the internet offers and everything, you can do all sorts of things, and you can learn all sorts of things here. So if you can learn skills on YouTube, that can get you a job or like help you, progress in life, then look into that, or look into that simultaneously. So you can come out of college saying, yeah, like I got a degree, but I've also like become certified in this other skill, or I'm able to demonstrate this skill that I've picked up on myself by watching YouTube and researching and etc. So that's the other things that you can do. But my thing is, don't be limited by what the system has to offer, because it's kind of breaking down. It's not the perfect system. No system is perfect. And especially, it's not perfect for everybody. What works for some people doesn't work for other people. Me and my best friend could never take the same path in life because our minds work completely differently. Well, not completely differently, but like we just are differently mind. We have different minds. We have different goals and aspirations, and we're still best friends, and we can still talk about whatever, and are there for each other. But we're not on the same path. And I think that, and he also like, whereas I understand like the book learning, this kid can look at mechanics and electrical work and kind of like figure out what's going on a lot easier than I can. I mean, I could probably do it, and he could probably learn school, but like because of what we're interested in, it's just how our brains are wired. So that's the kind of thing that I think people need to look at. And I hope that this is kind of helpful for people who are looking into college now, or for people who are in college and they're questioning their decisions, because I think it's a beautiful chance that we have now to assess all the options, because you have all the options right in front of you. It's in the laptop that you take to class every day. It's in, it's in your phone that you carry in your pocket everywhere. Look stuff up and see what's going on that you can take advantage of. And that's my message for today. I'm going to kind of sign off here and put this out there and see what you guys think about it. If you have other ideas or things that you've done in your college experience that have made it really beneficial for you, or if you say, I did this sort of degree, certification, or I think all of that education is stupid, talk to us and get involved here, and let's get this dialogue going and start this conversation of our generation and see if we can come up with better solutions here. Alright, have a good one, guys. And don't forget also, share this video as well if you like what I'm saying. Like it on YouTube. Like, the posts on social media and all that if you see it. And get in that comment section. Really dig in there and let's get this going. Let's have some fun with this, guys. I mean, I'm excited about what I'm doing here, and I really hope that I can get people excited as well, because I think this really can be something. If people, it's just about getting those first couple people involved, and I think if I get a couple of good people doing the same thing with me and talking with me, there will be some really interesting ideas and some really interesting things that come to light. So, thanks. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you next time.